Let's bring you some of the latest information and the story we've been watching out of Pearson International Airport in Toronto. An Air Canada Jazz flight from Toronto to Sudbury had to turn around because of bad weather in Sudbury, so it flew back to Toronto. It landed safely and successfully. Things got hairy, though, as it was taxiing in toward the terminal. Let's go to Peel Regional Police and my guest, Acting Sgt Bancroft Wright. Sir, good morning to you. Thank you for joining our program this morning.
Good morning, Heather. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's such an interesting story. About 1:30 in the morning, as I mentioned, that was the precursor, plane taxiing in, and then what happened?
Well, the plane came in, the information we have at 1:33 a.m. We received the call at 1:46. It's our understanding that a fuel truck struck the left side of the plane. From the initial impact, the plane was struck an additional 2 times, which resulted in some injuries of the crew members and some minor injuries to the passengers. Okay, so pausing there. So it was the truck that hit the plane, and how many people all told were injured? It's my understanding that it was 3 crew members. So there's the pilot, the co-pilot, and a flight attendant. Mm-hmm. There were 2 passengers reported initially that were transported to hospital just as a precautionary measure. And we have reason to believe that there were 12 other passengers out of the 51 that complained of minor injuries, but there was no transportation for them.
Okay, so that sounds like it was a pretty significant impact.
Most definitely. I can imagine, too, that the occupants of the plane probably weren't expecting any such impact, so they weren't braced for it, which probably would have caused some jarring and obviously some minor conditions.
Absolutely. So we're looking at video that was taken of, you can see it right there on our screen, Sergeant. You can see the tanker and you can see the plane behind it. It was a front-end collision, as you say, I guess, if it was the tanker that drove into the plane. Do we know whether it was full of fuel at the time? Because I'm thinking this could have been very serious indeed.
Most definitely. Unfortunately, I don't have that information, but you can imagine a plane with fuel and a tanker, a fuel tanker with fuel, both of them colliding could have been a more serious condition than what we're reporting on now.
Absolutely. That's just kind of worrisome. And the implications that the driver of the tanker we're now hearing has been charged. Can you tell me more?
The investigation was taken over by the Aviation Safety. Transport Canada was notified in relation to it. And as a result, the driver of the tanker was charged with dangerous driving under the Aviation Act.
And do we know any more about the driver, or experience, or anything further about male or female, anything like that?
At this point, no. I don't know what the status of the driver is.
And any circumstances? I don't know. I mean, a plane would be all lit up coming in. One would think it would be hard to miss an incoming plane. Do we know what happened that it drove right into it?
Because the investigation is taken care of by Aviation Safety and, of course, Transport Canada, we're, as Peel Regional Police, we're there as a conduit just to assist in the investigation. So as far as the overall ins and outs and details of the investigation, we don't have that information. Okay,
can I just clarify, but I'm not familiar with charges under the Aviation Act in this way. What kind of penalties is this driver facing?
And that's a very good question, because it's a federal charge. So as far as a Aviation Act, I've never been a police officer in the region of Peel. I've never dealt with a Aviation Act type charge. But I'd imagine that it's not too far off from a dangerous driving condition under the Highway Traffic Act.
Acting Sergeant Bancroft Wright, I thank you very much. It sounds like we're dealing with a real near-miss situation, and thankful for that. I appreciate the information this morning from you at Peel Regional Police.
Thank you.